one of the things that we hear from our clients is that we are very, very good at relationships. And I know that sounds very typical, but I would say when you have 99% customer retention and you've been around for 55 years and you have some clients that have been with you for over 40, and now you have 135 clients, there's something in your proprietary way that you approach the market, your proprietary sauce, that must be resonating.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Melissa Van Dyke, Senior Vice President of Integrated Marketing and Innovation at Creative Group. Melissa, how are you today?
Doing really well. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. Appreciate you spending some time with us on Business Ninjas. Please tell us about yourself and about Creative Group.
Yeah, happy to. So again, Melissa Van Dyke, and I am Senior Vice President of Integrated Marketing and Innovation here at Creative Group. I have been in the industry of meetings and incentives and events for over 20 years now. I won't say how many, over 20, but for a long time. Kind of fell backwards into this industry. I started my career, believe it or not, in technology and consulting, and wanted to kind of switch venues and found a local organization that was in the meetings and incentive space and fell in love with this industry. So 20 years later, I am still here, still loving the industry. Only now I get to do it for Creative Group, where we get to run 400 experiences for 175,000 of our closest friends a year.
175,000. So tell us a little bit more about that industry and how Creative Group serves it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibition, which sometimes gets called the MICE space, it's been around for a long time. In fact, as an organization, we, and I can tell you that story in a little bit if you'd like, we ran one of the first incentive programs back in the 70s. The MySpace is it's actually over a $900 billion space globally, kind of depending on which source you're looking at, and it's growing at about 9% compounded a year. So meetings and incentives are kind of a key part of business and how it's progressed over the last few decades, and we're pretty happy that we got to play a part in that growth. Creative Group, as an organization, we've been around for, believe it or not, 55 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I said, our mission is to be creators of business-changing experiences designed to help people thrive. It's a mission I feel very passionate about, and I feel very passionate about what we get to do on a daily basis, helping businesses and individuals not only thrive, but move. So we help the businesses move the people that move their business, whether that's via a live face-to-face experience with 2,000 to 3,000 of our closest friends, or an intimate 25-person setting where we're gathering feedback from key clients, or even in a top performer incentive travel program, where we're rewarding the top 25 to 50 individuals who've helped the company reach its goals.
Incredible. I had no idea the industry was nearly $1 trillion globally.
Oh, yeah.
Those are lofty numbers indeed. Had no idea.
Yeah. It's a huge industry.
Yeah. What verticals are you servicing? Are there industries or sizes of company that you work best with?
So we have over 135 clients, and I would say, of course, with 135 clients, we span and we see our services applicable to almost every vertical. Our primary verticals that we tend to see grow year over year are the pharma space, finance and insurance, technology, manufacturing. But we also have our roots in food services, believe it or not, and we still do quite a bit of business there as well. So our origin story really is in the food services space. We did the first incentive travel program for a food distribution company back in the 70s who wanted to open a warehouse. They wanted to fund a new warehouse, and they were trying to figure out a way to do it. So we put together what is essentially now called an incentive travel program, and took about 100 of their top performing wholesale distributor clients, grocers, to a wonderful destination, allowed them to bring their spouses, caught on like wildfire, and they became one of the first incentive travel programs in the world back in the 70s.
Amazing. Obviously, your approach has had to evolve broadly since the 70s. There's just a little bit of change in technology since then.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brain immediately goes to the COVID years and the obstacles and challenges for what you do. How did you guys sustain your business through the pandemic?
That is a great question. You mean how do you sustain a business when you lose 73% of your market overnight? Yeah, that is again, great question. Certainly COVID was an experience where our quote now is, never waste a good crisis. Because when you can wake up and find that the vast majority of your customers, you can't serve them in the ways that you typically have, I will go to the mat every day that it is our vision and our mission that carried us through. So our mission is to be creators of business changing experiences that help people thrive. And during that time, there's nothing in our mission that says we just do meetings and events, right? So during the COVID experience, we had the opportunity to get in the trenches with our clients and spin many of their programs from live meetings to virtual experiences that included experiential communications, or to take their top performer travel programs and spin them into individual travel programs that were available for 2 to 3 years, that you could still reward your top performers, but they could go anywhere in the world, and had a few years to use that travel reward so that they didn't have to feel, they could feel when everything opened up again, that they would have the opportunity to feel rewarded and get to travel. So really our products and services expanded in the COVID era, primarily because we got into the trenches with our clients. It's like, how do we help you still create business changing experiences when the tools that we originally had, which was the live meeting and event, are no longer available. So production became a bit like how we produce events. We spun into that, individual travel, experiential communications. And what's fascinating is that has been, and once the economy opened up and people could travel again, still some of our largest growing services, because now we all want to be back together face to face, but now we have the opportunity to layer in these wonderful production experiences and experiential communications as well.
Hey, you've been in business for a very long time, helping other people pivot and grow and create. You had to look in the mirror a little more than usual and pivot quickly. But hey, kudos for the approach. Obviously, you're still here to tell the tale.
Mm-hmm. Feel very blessed about that, because not all organizations made it through the pandemic. So we're very blessed. Yep.
Not in the travel space, certainly not.
Yeah.
Tell me about what makes you stand out from your competition. I assume you're not the only people in the industry. If it's $1 trillion industry, you must.
There's a lot of competition, right? Yeah, it's a great question. So yeah, we are a part of what's called the CMI 25, one of the top 25 most influential companies in the space. And We do talk a lot about what keeps us there, what puts us there, and what keeps us there. And um, one of the things that we hear from our clients is that we are very, very good at relationships. And I know that sounds very typical, but I would say when you have 99% customer retention and you've been around for 55 years and you have some clients that have been with you for over 40, and now you have 135 clients, there's something in your proprietary way that you approach the market, your proprietary sauce, that must be resonating. And we find that it's really three things when we say, we don't take relationships and leave them to chance. So obviously, we are meant to be creators. That's in our mission and in our vision. We don't leave creative to chance. We have a proprietary design methodology called iExperience, which we launched 10 years ago, long before behavioral science was a big part of our industry. We created a behavioral science-based, human design-centered creative process. That means every experience that we create is going to meet our clients' why. And we also have a proprietary talent training methodology, which we call Thriveability, that focuses not just on, and this is really common in our industry, the logistics of how events or experiences are executed, but the interpersonal skills that are vital when you are in the trenches with clients trying to figure it out and executing live events for 3,000 people. So we spend a lot of time training on not just the 49%, which are the logistical skills, but the 51%, which is how we relate in very difficult situations with our core clients as we're executing programs all over the world. And then we're also one of the only organizations of our size to be SOC 2 compliant. So we've got technology, we've got process, we've got talent. It's that special proprietary blend that means we don't leave creative or relationships to chance.
No, I love the approach. I mean, we're in a very tech-centric world and people are kept at arm's length. It's a world of SaaS. It's a world of here's a tool, go use it on your own. Relationships have to be nurtured, and this approach you're talking about is how relationships have legs. I mean, it's just the way it works. It's still human nature at the end of the day, whether we're across a table with a cup of coffee or we're looking at a screen like we are today. People still need human connection, and obviously it's working.
Absolutely. And I would say people need human connection now more than ever. So technology is brilliant, but it's a tool. And we know from science that technology can only take us so far in the depth of connections that humans create. So at some level, we have to move beyond technology and get people together face to face. And there's real science and real data that talks about how our brains work and how when we are together face to face in a space and have the opportunity to solve problems and innovate, that the outcomes for business statistically are greater when you insert face to face meetings at really important points in your company's growth. So we use technology as a tool. We're tech agnostic, we say sometimes, because we have actually a wide array of technologies that we use to assist our clients, from registration platforms to mobile apps to social connection and matchmaking type technologies. But it's a tool in the end that helps people connect.
Hey, earlier you said never waste a good crisis.
Never waste a good crisis. Yeah.
Look, they would say you get lemons, make lemonade. I would like to think that some of the upside of the pandemic is that people became a little more acutely aware of human nature, their own role in it, their needs, the things that didn't work for them. There's a lot of reset going on. I don't want to do this job. I don't want to live here. And I think people are aware of what they need in terms of human connection more than ever, even though a lot of what we do is so antiseptic now, staring at our smartphones and our laptops. But
it is. What's interesting is what we found. We could go into a whole podcast on third spaces too, which is in the pandemic, one of the things that people lost, and we've seen this for a long time, even in society, is that people used to have, they had their home and then they had their work or school, then they had a third place, whether that was their pub or their church or um, we don't have as many of those third places anymore as individuals. For some people, that's the gym. For some people, it might still be their faith-based organization. But what we find in face-to-face meetings is that they're becoming a third place for individuals. So that annual incentive travel trip where and I hear these stories all the time where, hey, I go every year on this incentive travel. Our kids have grown up together because it's been 20 years that we've been coming on this top performer travel trip. It's fascinating to hear how face-to-face meetings, even in a corporate environment, are starting to meet some of that need from a humanity standpoint for third spaces. So
I love it. I hadn't thought about the third space concept, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All right. Tell me, put on your marketing hat for a second. What role has content played in the growth of Creative Group?
Obviously, our job as an organization is to help our clients tell their story, right? Whether it's telling their story for a face-to-face event, through a face-to-face event, or through an incentive program, or top-to-top or face-to-face meeting. Content itself is how organizations now tell their story. And the reality is that we have many more spaces technologically as well as even on site that we can put content to help a client, both ourselves and our clients, tell a story. So content marketing in itself has become such a core part of how we help our clients tell a story, but also how we tell our story to the marketplace, because it helps amplify content marketing. And my point of view is just the crescendo in how we get to amplify a story via multiple platforms so that we finally break through and help individuals hear the message that we're trying to deliver, right? We used to be very limited from a marketing standpoint on the number. It was cost prohibitive to tell it in a number of venues or number of ways. And now content marketing and the tools that are available have really helped amplify the message that we're trying to tell and we're trying to help our clients tell in really cost-effective ways.
Absolutely. I refer to it as connective tissue every day. You have to meet your potential clients where they are. You got to show them who you are and why they want to do business with you. And you got to answer the questions they're answering right now, which change very quickly in the world we're living in these days.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Look down the road a year from now. What are some things you'd like to be celebrating personally and professionally?
Personally and professionally. I would say, let's start with from a professional standpoint. Like I said, I get the opportunity to run 400 experiences for 175,000 of my closest friends a year. It would be wonderful to be doing that for, 1,000 programs for 500,000 of my closest friends a year. We do see wonderful growth in our industry. And as we've returned from travel, it's wonderful to be a part of the growth in the travel industry overall. So I'm really looking forward to be able to help more clients tell their story via our services. But that does dovetail quite a bit with my, professionally, what I get to hear are the stories, the individual stories that come from those experiences. We actually have more ways that I get to become aware of them. So for me, it's just to give you an example, we had a client who had an individual that was in a wheelchair that didn't think that they're going to be able to enjoy dinner on the beach with the rest of the group. And to their surprise, when they got to the event, we had people stationed there to help take them down to the beach. They could have their first dinner on the beach ever in their lives. We got to help somebody who was one of the speakers at our pharma events have her first real bath because she needed extra accommodations. So at the hotel, we were able to make that happen for her. So getting to hear those stories and really become a part of those kind of life-changing stories and really heartfelt moments. Personally, that's a goal of mine, is just to be able to hear more of those. And I'm lucky I get to work with people who create them.
That's beautiful. Really, for on both ends of the equation. You get to feel fulfilled for providing that sort of moment for someone. And on the other hand, they feel seen, heard, and appreciated in a way that they may never have before. So that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Please tell us, what's your URL? Where can people find Creative Group, and what social media outlets are you using as well?
Yes. So online, we are at www.creativegroupinc.com. And we are on Instagram at CG Thrive.
Okay,
You'll also find us on LinkedIn under Creative Group and on Facebook under Creative Group as well.
excellent. Melissa Van Dyke, thank you for spending some time with us today on Business Ninjas. All the best to you and yours, and continued success at Creative Group.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Be well.